Good morning. It is a beautiful day in the garden and I'm coming out here and kind of getting some inspiration and some ideas of maybe changing a few things around. I have been loving some of the things that are doing really well. The container pond, my grow bags, they're doing amazing. The tomatoes are looking beautiful this year. Girly girls out here with me. There's some things that are really doing spectacular. And then there are a few containers that are just like not working. They don't look great. One thing grew, one thing didn't. And I think I'm gonna do kind of a full revamp of the garden so that for July we have like a clean slate and we can just start things kind of over. I think it can be really tempting to just get the garden set for the year and leave it. But one thing that I've learned about gardening in a small space and just having this little tiny garden is that, you know, if I don't like something, I should just change it. And I've been planning for next year and planning for next year, and then I'm kind of like, you know what, the things that aren't working this year, I need to change. I just need to revamp them. I need to redo the Greenstalk so I can kind of salvage any of the plants from the containers that are doing really great, and I can throw them in the Greenstalk and they'll probably love life and continue on and produce the way I want them to. And then, you know, the plants that are like not working, the seeds that didn't germinate, I'll just move them on. I think that I may have some issue with some older seeds. I definitely had a lot of germination issues this year. It's been a cold, wet, rainy spring, some frustration. So let's do a little highlight reel. I'll show you what's going great, and then I'll show you some of the things that are gonna be like revamped and moved to the Greenstalk. And this is actually probably gonna save me money too, because I was gonna buy a bunch of things for the Greenstalk, but yeah, I don't need to if I just pull them from my other containers. And you can move things. I even might move some perennials. I'll show you those too. Okay, so here is the container pond. I love it. It's doing amazing. Look at, yeah, the plants. Look at all those beautiful lily pads. I mean, this is a keeper. Beautiful, wonderful. That lettuce container never really got going, kind of got stunted. Maybe I planted it too early. I don't know. We're just gonna leave that. This area, this shade garden area, I hate the way it looks. It never, it just never really got to a point that I liked. So I'm gonna move it around. I think the girly girl is gonna tell you all about the garden. The impatiens, the agerantum, they all look good, but the snapdragons are kind of fizzling out. The Coleus never really got going. So I'm just gonna kind of like move it around a little bit and adjust it, and then see if I can't just, you know, move the plants around and get them into a spot that looks good. It's a little tough on the annuals, absolutely, a little bit tricky sometimes for them to get moved like that, but you know what? If they're not doing what they were supposed to do in the place that they're at, I think at least moving them gives them a shot for like, yeah, just a better look overall. Then I'm thinking about actually moving some larger pieces of the garden. So this is a cute little topiary Arborvitae. I actually bought it for like $5 after Christmas like a couple years ago, and I shaped it into this spiral. But in this location, it's just not, like, that is not the most, doesn't show it off, right? Like, you can't even tell it's a spiral. So I am thinking, I planted it here this spring. I'm thinking about moving it right here to kind of be in the middle of this bed, and just poke the flowers. Remember, don't pinch, just poke. Tip, if you have a toddler, get them to poke the flowers instead of picking them or pinching them. Anyways, yeah, that it might center in this bed really nicely and kind of anchor that. And then I'm gonna like move the elephant ear, and obviously there's a little bit of scouring rushes here, but they're kind of fading out, and so I think I might just like dig them up and even maybe add them to the container pond, and then put in, yeah, the topiary right there. I can move that Coleus. So really some big kind of like moves happening, yeah, in the whole scope of the garden, but it's just not looking the way I want, and so I feel like I'm gonna make some edits. I think I'm also gonna plant some just things, like I said, that are in containers into the Greenstalk, because I've got them in little containers right now and I'm just like not loving the look. So a few of these things are like maybe this rhubarb, which is actually, the leaves are poisonous for rhubarb, right? And you eat the stems, and I have like little ones and I don't keep them out in the garden, like keep them. I don't let my little girls out into the garden unsupervised, but oh yeah, we're not going to touch that one. You know, it might be better high up in the Greenstalk where no one can get to it. This little blueberry container, adorable. I love it. Keeping that, of course, keeping the fig. Gentle, gentle, don't touch the eggplants. And then, you know, like this is really cute. This is my little eucalyptus, but I may just put that in the Greenstalk because it'll grow in there and it'll be kind of fun. So some things like that I think I'm gonna do. This side of the garden is in pretty good shape. I'm loving the things that are happening over here. I did move this container that I had in like shade part of the garden. I moved it over here to like full sun because I think it's gonna be happier there. But yeah, all good things happening over here. Not too much to change, although this container, which I really wanted to be a big focal container, is kind of taking it slow. So I may think about this one doing some edits to it as well. And then we have the grow bags. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, like, look at that growth. Just beautiful. They look amazing. Those are perfect. We're keeping those. Nothing's changing. Remember these guys that I tried to save over in the non-rainy area? I don't know. They may get deconstructed and put in the Greenstalk. I can't quite tell if they're picking back up now yet, but it's not ideal. You can see they're kind of like bending the racks for the shell of my greenhouse here, and so I just may revamp them and throw them into the Greenstalk with everything else. So these are just some of my ideas, and I'm gonna, you know, start taking action with them, and I'll show you how it goes as I'm getting things rearranged, and you can kind of see this process in this vlog because it's going to take me a little while, I think, to get all these adjustments made, but I think I'm going to be happy in the end. I think I'm going to really like it. Let me show you this fun kind of dream plant thing. Okay, so I'm going to preface this by saying I have been wanting a butterfly bush forever. I have a tiny garden. Butterfly bushes get humongous. So for years and years and years, I never got a butterfly bush. I never thought I could have a butterfly bush. I just thought it's not in the cards for me. And then I got the Stillwater clematis, which is over here, growing and growing. And that's gonna have like these beautiful bluish flowers. And I started thinking like, oh, I really love like the blue, pink, yellow. Like that's my favorite color combo.
Purple?
And purple. So I could get some more blues in the garden. And I just started thinking about butterfly bushes and found this one. This is a, let's see, I think it's called a Pugster Blue, and it is a dwarf butterfly bush. So it's about at full size. It's only gonna get about 2 inches wide, and not 2 inches, 2 feet wide and 2 feet tall. Covered in blooms all season long. It blooms these really beautiful kind of purpley, pretty blue color flowers all season long. They do like full sun, so they're gonna go kind of like right here, I think, in one of my more full sun patches of the garden. And one thing about butterfly bushes is that they don't like to have wet feet. You know, this can be a struggle for me. But I think it's gonna be a perfect candidate for a grow bag. So I have these 15-gallon grow bags, which I think will be a good size, at least for a few years for this plant, which I could pot out like into the front yard or plant out into the front yard if I think it's starting to languish in the grow bags. But I'm gonna start with the 15-gallon grow bag for it, full sun location, keep an eye on my own watering, and between that and the drainage from the grow bag, I don't think it's gonna have too much trouble with water. And I'm just so excited. And this kind of like, yeah, this has given me the spark to be like, I'm just redoing the garden, I'm reworking with colors. It's never too late in the season, just like have fun, you know, whatever makes you happy. And that's kind of the theme. So really beautiful. Let me show you the tag. Just in case you're interested in this guy and you wanna see, here's all the details. US zone 5 through 9, 2 feet tall and wide, full sun, petite, fragrant, long blooming, summer, fall blooms, and then you can prune it in the spring. So really pretty, just a gorgeous plant, and I really love this color. I think that with the clematis is gonna be an amazing combination. Good afternoon. I was gonna say good morning, but it's not morning now, although it still feels so cool. We have a beautiful next few days coming up. It's gonna be temperatures in the 70s, which is just wild for us. I had to pull on this. I just had this sweatshirt on or around. I had to put it on because it's kind of chilly out here. I did pick out an old sweatshirt because I'm gonna do some of the makeovers for this garden. It's a great time to transplant when it's cool like this. The hot temperatures can be a little hard on plants. I want to move around some of these, plants as I was talking about. I'm also deconstructing a few of the containers. So I did redo the Greenstalk and I moved a few things out of containers. And I just have some containers that I'm not loving, they're not thriving, and I'm just gonna move them. I'm going to put the plants into the beds in different places where I think I have some space for them and just kind of make the most of it, and then move on and make room for other things. So that's kind of my plan today, just really revamping a lot of things out here in the garden. But the first step is going to be tackling this area. I'm going to dig up some of this stuff, move this tree. What else am I going to do? I think those are the big things I'm going to do first. And I think this one is going to stay, and then we'll get out some of the other stuff and kind of try to rake back the mulch and not make too much of a mess. My tools for this area are going to be some garden gloves, because when you're moving mulch like this, that's necessary, kneeling pad, and a trowel. And look at this sad dahlia. I forgot about it, and it didn't get watered for a couple days, and I just stuck it in here because I was doing a deep water of the garden. I think I killed it. I'm so sad about this because this was going to be a beautiful dahlia, but I'm going to see if maybe the roots are okay and maybe it'll sprout back up, but that is really sad. I rarely get upset and feel sad when a plant dies. What it is, it happens. That one's sad. I was upset to see that. It's okay. We're moving on. We're gonna fix this garden bed. So, remember what it looks like now? Messy, silly. It's gonna look better. This one, it looks like a weed, but this is actually an Adrantum I started from seed. I'm just gonna let it go and see what that kind of does, but I think the rest of it looks so much more cohesive, and hopefully it will fill in. I also moved out the topiary. I think it looks so much better there. Let me look back a little bit. You can kind of see, I think it looks so much better. Now the only issue is I had this topiary form for the cucumbers, which you can see are sort of starting to grow up it, but kind of not. So I may move that and switch that out for a different kind of trellis. I've got to really think about that one. You can see a little damage on this lemony lace elderberry. That is just because my neighbors trimmed one of their trees, and so the elderberry got a little sun scorched because it wasn't used to the sun, but that's okay. In general, I think this area looks much calmer and more open. I do have these two Coleus, and I think I might just pop them right here at the end of this bed, and I think I'm gonna start reworking this garden bed. I've got to figure out what I want to do with this cucumber trellis. Now it's off center with the topiary. And then yeah, the dill and everything, it just looks so messy in that bed. But at least we make it a good start here. It does look a lot emptier in this space. I may move over my willow tree. I think it might be pretty in the pot coming up behind the container garden here. So let me move that over. And then I'm also going to trim out some of these suckers at the base This is a crepe myrtle tree, but I think I'm gonna leave 2 of them and start working on having multiple branches for this, or multiple stems for this crepe myrtle tree. So those are the next steps. All right, all tidied up for now. I did move this willow over here. I don't know. I go back and forth about having pots in garden beds, but maybe I'll see what I think about it there for a while. I could, of course, plant it into the ground, but I think I want to keep it in a container. But there might be some other fun places for it, so I don't think the willow is going to stay there. But this is just sort of the fun of the garden process. It's just like, you know, moving things around. I love to move plants around. Usually they do okay, you know. Okay, so now I'm gonna deconstruct this container, I think, and pop it over in some of these flowers in front of the tomatoes here. I really wanted to have, I gotta get rid of these. I'm gonna stick these in better spots. But I really wanted to have like a border of the Greek dwarf basil. Some of it took, but most of it just didn't. And like, it just looks bad. And again, like I'm at the point in the season where I'm like, okay, I'm ready for things to like start looking good. But I think it'd be really pretty. I have that blue salvia. Well, I guess I'll leave the pink gomphrena over there. It looks like it's doing okay. But I might just put the blue salvia in here, take it out of the container. And then I think I may take apart this container, which was doing really well. But it's kind of just reaching a point where the Superbells is not really super happy, and the Kufia is kind of, I don't know what's going on. So I may put the Kufia in next to the salvia and kind of have like a row of colors. I think that would actually be really pretty, and then have the gomphrena and just have like all these flowers in and around this garden bed. I think that might actually be like really gorgeous. I'm sort of simplifying the garden, taking out all these containers, and then watch. I'm gonna start putting in a bunch more containers, you know me, but at least for right now, yeah, I think that's gonna be the plan. I'm gonna start with that and see how it goes. So I still need to kind of clean up a little bit around here. I spilled a little dirt and stuff, but I think this is going to be really pretty. If this salvia takes off next to the sunflower, I think that will be really gorgeous. And then I think the Kufia is going to work its way in. It should get a decent amount of sun, and it'll only get more and more as the tomatoes get bigger, because I'm going to keep trimming back. Like, I've got to come in here and trim out all these leaves that are starting to look a little bit kind of yucky, but I think that's going to be really beautiful. And this is what I wanted to do this year anyways, was sort of make my raised beds like their own containers. And I'm starting to get there and do that, and that's really fun and exciting. So I'm glad this is happening. I might take this potato vine and put it over, so I hope the wind isn't too bad. It's so windy today. And put this potato vine over the corner right here. I think that'll be beautiful, and start the process of kind of changing this bed up a little bit too. So feeling good about the edits we're making. Yeah, and of course I need to do tons of cleanup out here now as well, but I think this is gonna be beautiful and kind of fun, and just really showcase the raised beds because they are gorgeous, and I might as well really utilize them. Hey there, so I just popped out into the garden to kind of finish up this vlog. We made most of the changes, so there's a few things, like I need to put the clematis into this container, and I got, you know, the butterfly bush is still in a nursery pot, so I've got to get those things potted up. But for the most part, the whole garden is transformed, ready to go. It's just a beautiful evening right now. I'll flip you around and show you a little bit of what the garden is looking like now that we've made some edits. Still have the glorious grow bags. I've moved the potatoes over here and a couple tomatoes. Gonna harvest these potatoes soon because they're pretty much ready to go. Got a couple things to still put away, but mostly the garden is looking beautiful. Here's the new layout, the new look. It just feels fresh and clean and open. I have that's the grow bag over there in the corner that this is going to go in. So I guess I shouldn't say the garden is completely done, but really at a beautiful place. We've got a gorgeous evening right now. And I'm just loving the look of everything. It's so fun to be out in the garden this time of day. And I actually just harvested for dinner 2 Poblano peppers. This is my Poblano pepper plant. And I just harvested 2 peppers off of it for dinner and made some stuffed peppers. So we were having pulled pork, so I decided to do like a pulled pork stuffed pepper. So I take the peppers, I cut them in half, but you can just kind of cut a slit in them too to probably stuff them a little bit better. And then I sauteed them in a pan and blistered the skin, peeled them, put in some pulled pork that I had. I used the Pioneer Woman's pulled pork recipe. If you're looking for a good like crock pot pulled pork recipe, I highly recommend hers. It's absolutely delicious. It never fails me. So good. Your family, guests, everyone will love it. So that's the pulled pork that I used, and I just put a little bit of that in each of the peppers, put the cheese back in, threw them back in the saute pan for just a few minutes to melt the cheese. And then we had that as a little appetizer with a little cilantro on top from the garden. It was super good and really fun to be having a harvest out of the garden again. Quick, simple, and yeah, if you're looking for ways to use your peppers, you know, eggplants, I'll keep sharing some of the recipes that I'm doing. I like to just have like fun, fresh recipes that are kind of easy and simple. And so that was a really good one. I definitely recommend trying that one out. But anyways, I'm just gonna sit out here and enjoy the garden a little bit more this evening. I hope you had a great day in your garden. Maybe you got a chance to get out there, or you're doing something fun today. And anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye-bye.